What I want to learn is what it is being a Mormon.
My therapist diagnosed me with something called religious trauma syndrome. The only true church on the earth is the Mormon church. You're not allowed to read other books or go surf the internet. You meet someone, you get married within a couple months. It's really hardcore. It's pretty extreme. Yeah, we pay 10% of all of our income to the church. At heaven, you're gonna have to do this handshake to get in. You go into the temple, they undress you, you're in this locker room. If I say I don't believe in God, it doesn't mean I'm certain. But consciousness, I think that's the biggest and most mysterious question we have.
What is your degree of confidence that the God does not exist?
I would describe myself as like an optimistic, stoic, nihilistic atheist.
What I want to learn is what it is being a Mormon.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Utah to a Mormon family. Uh, yeah, it's a pretty intense upbringing being a Mormon, right?
What is it? What for people who don't know? Because Mormon is a very American thing. What is Mormonism? What do the people who are Mormons believe in?
Yeah, that's a big question. But basically, they believe in Jesus, so they're like Christians. They believe that the only true church on the earth is the Mormon Church. It's actually called the LDS Church now, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
They rebranded.
They rebranded, yeah, to so and
Okay.
they're rebranding again. It's anyway, it's this whole thing. But
Okay.
yeah, so they believe in Jesus, and really like one of the claims that they believe that's different from most of Christianity is that this guy named Joseph Smith in the 1800s saw Jesus and God, and he was told to basically go find these golden plates in a hill, uncover them, and then translate them from this ancient language into English. And that book became what's called the Book of Mormon, which is the modern day scripture for Mormons. So they use the Bible and the Book of Mormon, and they also have two other texts called the Doctrine and Covenants and Pearl of Great Price that comprise their scriptures. They call it the
Wow.
standard works. So
So those nothing to do with the scrolls that people found in I guess it
the
was
Dead Sea Scrolls,
Dead Sea Scrolls.
nothing to do with those. This is yeah, something completely different.
Where did he found those golden scriptures or whatever it was in U.S.?
Yeah, he found them. They were near his house in upstate New York in a hill. So yeah,
Okay. Okay.
that's the thing that Mormons believe that most most of Christianity doesn't believe. So that's kind of what's unique there.
Wow. That's very interesting. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a big part of the religion. This Joseph Smith guy, because there's this whole story of how he basically restored the church. There's this thing called the Great Apostasy,
Okay.
where that Mormons believe that after Christ left, he established his church on earth. He had 12 apostles that you
Yeah.
read about in the New Testament. They were going around converting people, building up the church back in the day. But somewhere between then and the 1800s, the church fell into apostasy or fell away, and the fullness of God's church was no longer on the earth. And
Wow.
that's why he needed to call Joseph Smith as a prophet, just like Moses
Yeah.
or any of the other prophets you read about in the Bible, to restore the church.
Okay.
And
So this was your religion and worldview for most of your upbringing.
that's right. I grew up reading these little comic books as a kid that told the story of Joseph Smith and Jesus, and I grew up going to church every Sunday. And there's a lot of things outside of that in Mormon culture. Like we have this thing called family home evening. Every Monday night, we spend a couple hours just with our family reading the scriptures together. And it's kind of like a mandatory, it's not mandatory, but it's expected that you'll do it. It's
Yeah.
like a big part of the culture. And then every Saturday, you spend preparing for Sunday, because Sunday you can't go shopping, you can't buy anything. You're supposed to just spend it doing church things. So,
Wow.
and then on every Wednesday, you do something called Young Men's or Young Women's, where you go to this meeting house with a bunch of other people your age and you do more church related stuff. So, like, your whole life is
Revolves around church.
revolves around it. And even school, you would have to wake up early before everybody else and go to seminary class where you learn you read the scriptures, the Book of Mormon, Bible, and you're taught by someone
Okay.
the doctrine of the church. So
And how did it feel for you? Like, were you fine with that? Did you had any doubts?
yeah, it's pretty rough. I was always like a little bit rebellious. Like the way I would rebel is I had like kind of long shaggy hair, which they discourage in the church. So they want you to look clean cut, clean shaven. You know, they don't want you to have any beards.
Wow.
And yeah, it was kind of a lot. You know, like I wanted my free time back sometimes, but other times it was really helpful because it answers a lot of the hard questions around life, like what's going to happen when you die, what's your purpose in life, and it was nice having those answers. But so it was like kind of this tension of like I believed it and I accepted it, but sometimes I would feel like it was a bit overbearing on my life.
Okay.
So
And you told me the story how you supposed to walk from door to door.
yeah, so there's this thing in Mormonism called the mission, where at the age of around 18, 19, 20, you go out and serve a mission. You spend 2 years if you're a man, and it's like 18 months if you're a woman. The men are expected to go; they're required,
Yeah.
and but the women are not really required to go, but some can still volunteer and go anyway. And you spend 2 years, and you get called to a place. I got called to Montana. Some people get called to other countries. Um, I wanted to go to Japan, but they didn't send me there. You don't get to pick where you go,
All
sadly.
right.
So, so kind of luck of the draw there. But yeah, you spend 2 years proselytizing, trying to share the gospel and convert people to Mormonism. So you do that by tracting. You can knock on doors. You can get referrals from other members of the church, talking to people in public places. So yeah, I did that for 2 years. It was pretty pretty big experience, honestly.
What did you learn and how? Yeah, tell me about it.
I learned a lot. I before then, like before I served a mission, I was pretty introverted.
Okay.
I've kind of reverted back since my mission to being that way, but like it really got me out talking and meeting people because that's all you do all day. But probably the biggest thing I learned was just how to take rejection, because you can imagine like Mormonism is not the easiest thing to sell. so
For sure.
so we get a lot of doors slammed in our face. We get a lot of people that just ignore you or are rude to you or just don't want to hear what you have to say. So you get rejected all day, every day, and it's like really rare that you'll find someone that wants to take the lessons, and it's even rare of the people that take the lessons to want to get baptized and join the church.
Any
So
crazy story of rejections?
yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's just so many. You know, you get. I mean, there's some stories that probably aren't even appropriate to share on a podcast, but
Everything is appropriate in this podcast.
yeah. Okay, well, there was this one guy, you know, we jumped right to a crazy story. We knocked on his door, and he comes to the door naked, and I think he knew we were coming, and he's like, "Elders, come on in and come teach a lesson." We're like, "Sir, you're naked. We can't come in and teach you." And he's like, "No, come in. I want to learn this lesson. You know, I want to learn all about Joseph Smith." And because he says Joseph Smith, we already know. They're like, "Okay, he knows about Mormonism. He knows what we're doing. This isn't his first rodeo." And anyway, we just at that point we just left because we know he's just gonna mess with us. And
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of people that do that. We've had people that throw things from the car at you while you're walking.
Really?
Yeah. Or
Why?
no, they just think they have a bad idea of what it is to be a Mormon. So
Really?
they'll do that.
Why do people think it's a bad to be a Mormon? Sounds like nice people.
Oh yeah, Mormonism has always had a pretty controversial place in the world. Like, cause in the beginning, they like since the inception of Mormonism, they Mormons have been persecuted.
Okay.
Like they've been, like they would basically they congregated together really strongly in the beginning, like in the beginnings in New York, and at some point they wanted to pioneer west and start a new life. And so as they did that, they would like stay in certain towns like Nauvoo. And here they would people didn't like them because they would come in and kind of impose their values, and they were polygamous, so the man would have.
Mormons are polygamous.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about it in a second, but
Yeah,
keep going.
so they didn't like that all these Mormons would come in, and the guys would have many women, and it was just a different value set. So they would be persecuted. There's even times where Mormons were shot and killed. But it goes both ways. Like Mormons have people, like if you lived in some village and Mormons came in and they settled there, and now they are like the majority vote in the town, and they're like imposing their values and their religion. It might upset you. So
Okay.
it's understandable from both sides. But anyway, that's why Mormons left the East and came to Utah. They're like some of the first
So Utah
pioneers.
has most Mormons in U.S. Is that the place?
Yeah, it's a really concentrated area, like that whole Rockies area, like Utah, Idaho, Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty full of Mormons.
Polygamous. That's interesting. I didn't know that. So many new things. How did you see that in your journey?
Uh, yeah, I mean that was like kind of always a hard thing for a lot of people in the church to swallow, like me included, because it's kind of seen as a skeleton in the closet. Because people don't practice polygamy now,
Yeah.
and the Mormon Church, is trying to be a modern organization that's like kind of accepted by everybody.
Yeah.
They're like, but you guys are polygamous. You have this strange past that's not really so far back in history.
But were you when you were growing up, where the polygamy was something that you were taught and say, okay, Dylan should have many wives. It's all good.
No, no, they stopped doing that in I forget the year, but it's been a while since they've like practiced polygamy.
Okay.
There are other like small Mormon offshoots that still practice it, but like the big main branch of Mormonism, they don't practice it anymore.
Okay. What are some of the other weird things that you notice?
Oh, I mean, like there's so many strange parts of the religion. Like now, looking back at it, I'm not really a part of it anymore, but looking back, you see like, Mormons wear these garments. It's like these underwear that you wear under your clothing that's supposed to help you. It's supposed to protect you from certain things. And
Like what? From what?
oh, it's like these are like anecdotal stories, like folklore kind of stories where
Yeah.
like someone was in a fire and they didn't get burned because they were wearing their garments, like God was protecting them or something.
Okay.
But really, it's like a symbol that you're committing to live a pure life, like
What's a pure life for Mormon?
that you're gonna live all the commandments. Basically, you're gonna pay 10% of your tithing. You're not gonna consume drugs or alcohol. You're not gonna have premarital sex. You're gonna put all of your time and energy into building the church.
Well, you pay 10% of everything you make to a Mormon church,
We
like a
pay,
tax.
yeah, we pay 10% of all of our income to the church.
It's good business.
So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, the
And don't
church.
have premarital sex, but you can have a lot of sex if you have like five wives. So you just need to marry them.
Yeah, they want you to be married, and then you can have
Do
all the
whatever
sex
you
you
want.
want.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. With all the wives you have.
yeah. Nowadays it's just one at a time, but yeah,
But it's okay if you divorce.
divorce is frowned upon.
Okay.
The thing is, like, polygamy technically still exists in Mormonism. It's just you can't have multiple lives or wives that are alive at the same time. So if you are married and your wife dies or gets divorced for some reason, but they
Yeah.
discourage divorce, and you get married again, then in heaven you're gonna have those two women as your wives. So
That's a good deal.
it's kind of strange, but
Okay.
That's how it works.
Well, so okay. Uh, Garments, polygamy. What else? What else did you observe where you're like, huh, interesting? Or now looking back, since you're not Mormon, we're going to talk about you getting away from Mormonism, which we actually can do as part of this too. But like, what are some things that I guess were strange to you or look strange now looking back?
Oh, I mean, just the level, like paying 10% of your income to a church seems strange. Going to a temple, which is like is a place that Mormons revere as sacred. It's where certain rituals happen, and the public isn't allowed to see what goes on in the temples. But it can be pretty strange in there. Some of the rituals that go on.
Can we talk about those?
We can talk about them. Sure, why not?
Okay.
So
What are some of the weird rituals that are happening in the Mormon temples? Actually, what's the difference between temple and a church, and what are happening there?
yeah, church house. That's like the meeting house you go to every week. So every Sunday you go to the meeting houses, which is just the church house. You've
Yeah.
probably seen them around if they're more common in the U.S. But you go there every Sunday. They have a sacrament meeting, which is where you do like the bread and the water. Mormons don't do the wine, so you do the water and bread. And then you do like these other classes where you learn about Mormonism, and yeah, that's the church house. The temple, on the other hand, is like you have to have a temple recommend to go in there.
What is that?
You have to meet certain requirements, like you have to have been paying your tithing, you have to have been living all those commandments I mentioned earlier, and if you can pass an interview with your bishop saying that you believe in God, you believe in Joseph Smith, and you've been living in the way that they see is worthy, then you can get this little card the temple recommend, and you show it to the guy
Wow.
at the temple, and they let you in.
So it's like a reward for being a good Mormon. Now we can go to a temple.
Yeah, a reward or like you need to be worthy. They use the word worthy
Okay.
to go in the temple.
What's happening in the temple?
Yeah, so these are first of all the temples are like they're actually pretty beautiful. They put a lot of money and time into designing them. They all kind of have a unique design. No two temples are the same.
Yeah.
And yeah, these are like kind of like the crown jewels for the Mormon Church.
Okay.
They This is where like all the sacred things happen. So the Mormonism, you need to be when you get married, you need to be sealed for time and eternity. When you get
What does seal means?
It means that you're gonna be with that person forever, even like after this life.
Okay.
So you're gonna be sealed to your wife and your kids,
Yes.
and you'll be with them even in heaven. And that all takes place in the temple.
Sealing.
Sealing, yeah, that's what they call it.
Okay. What does that? How does sealing ritual look like?
Yeah, so that's one of the rituals I've actually never done that one because I've never been married, but it's a man and a woman, and they go into this room, and the guy comes out and he does some kind of prayer and ritual, and you're married forever, and that's how it is. That one's not that crazy.
Okay. Well, tell me about the crazy ones. Crazy rituals for Mormons in temples.
These other two. One of them is baptisms for the dead, and the other one is the endowment ceremony.
Okay.
So the endowment is you're basically being endowed with a blessing from God. So
What does endowed means?
that means you're being blessed, basically,
Oh.
or
Okay.
given something. Yeah.
Okay.
So with this endowment, you go into the temple, and they they undress you. You're in this locker room. You undressed, and they put these strange looking clothes on you.
Okay.
It looks kind of like a chef outfit. Like I've never seen these outfits before. I went to the temple, but because you're not supposed to like talk about it or
Okay.
know about this. So I felt kind of strange. Like you have this apron and you have this chef's hat,
Wow.
and you go through these different rooms, and like the first one, you're like making these vows that you're gonna do certain things, and in return, they're giving you blessings of like health, blessings of prosperity, and learning like the way to get into heaven, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, they teach you. This is kind of the strange part, but they teach you these secret handshakes
Okay.
that apparently you're gonna need when you die, because there's gonna be an angel in front of the gate at heaven. You're gonna have to do this handshake to get in, and if you don't know the handshake, you're not gonna get in.
How does the case shake? Like,
Yeah, it's like not it's less flashy than like one of these modern handshakes that we have, but yeah, you have to like do this certain thing with your hand and then like recite some words, and
okay.
I've kind of
Wow.
forgotten since it's been a while since I've been back to the temple, but
Yeah.
yeah,
You'll get trouble getting in.
I don't think
Um,
I can go back anymore.
damn it. Okay. So, wow. So you wear a chef, weird chef clothes, and you naked with the chef clothes on top of you, and you have this apron, and then you learn handshake to get to heaven.
That's right. Yeah. It all sounds like pretty strange, you know? But when you're a true believing Mormon,
Yeah, it's a ritual.
it's like you kind of grew up believing a lot of crazy stuff, and it seems normal. Like you're basically live in this bubble
Yeah.
in Utah. Like everyone around you believes, all your neighbors believe, your parents believe, your friends are also Mormon. So like nothing seems strange to you. It's like all this is normal. Like yeah, of course we go to the temple. Of course, like we have to, we have to pay 10% to go to heaven. Like that's normal. You don't do that. Like there was like this one guy in our neighborhood who wasn't a Mormon, and like we thought he was the weird one, and
Yeah.
like now I realize like it's the other way around, right?
I don't know. Okay. So the weirdness about that was I guess the ritual itself, right? That you wear some weird clothes and you do some weird gestures in the temple.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty uncomfortable because like all kind of like all growing up, like the temple is like really one of the things that stayed pretty true to the Mormon roots. Like everything else in Mormonism has evolved because they're always trying to make the church more modern and palatable to modern audiences, and they're pretty good at that. But the temple still is like something that shows Mormons' roots. It's like still pretty weird, you know. Like the church was really weird back then. They've changed a lot of stuff. But like they have this play, like they do a play. It's like a skit. You're in the temple watching a skit in this chef's uniform, and they have like some guy that's playing the devil, some like a couple that's playing Adam and Eve, and they like act out this play of like the Garden of Eden myth. But it's actually the Mormon version. So there's certain details that are different. Like it goes into more complexity of the story of Adam and Eve.
So literally, people play this. There's like a naked guy and a naked girl. They walk and then eat the apple, and there's a snake.
Yeah, but they're not naked. They're all wearing that same outfit.
Okay.
So, but you're like, like this is weird. Like, why am I watching a play here? You know, like
Yeah.
they don't tell you what's gonna happen in the temple before you go.
Okay.
So like, I took this class called Temple Prep, and like they actually tell you nothing in the class. They just tell you like you need to be worthy and ready to go to the temple. Make sure you're paying your tithing and like all the basic Mormon stuff. And then once you go, you're kind of like slapped in the face. Like, what am I getting myself into here? Like, this is.
Weird.
It's kind of like the weirdest thing you experience as a Mormon going through the temple.
Okay.
Everything else, like, is pretty palatable, but that's.
How often do you go to temple?
There's no set time you should go, but they recommend you try to go when you can. Like, they
Some
want you to
people
go
go watch that
regularly.
play all the time.
Yeah, some people go. Like, my grandma, she was retired and just. She worked in the temple. Like, you can be a temple worker. So she was in the temple, like, 4 times a week,
Wow.
you know?
Okay. So this is one weird ceremony. What are the other one? You said two.
Yeah, and the other one is baptisms for the dead. This is basically where, well, Mormons believe that you need to be baptized to go to heaven.
Okay. And baptized mean they pour holy water on you and say prayers
You have to be immersed fully in water.
fully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if like one hair is like above the water, they have to redo the ceremony and put you in again.
Okay. So they usually do it for small kids because it's easier.
Yeah, when you can't get baptized till you're 8, because that's the age they believe you're finally like able to have accountability for your actions.
Oh,
So
so you're baptized at 8 or
at 8, yeah,
okay? Because I think in Orthodoxy they can baptize you when you're younger. Remember?
yeah, that's one thing about Mormons. Like they don't want you to be baptized until you're of age to where like you can be accountable
Okay.
for your own sins.
Okay. So
So
baptizing for the dead, how does that look like?
yeah, that's the thing with Mormonism is everybody they want to save the world. They want to save everybody. They want all souls to go to heaven and choose God. But
Yeah.
some people have died without having been baptized.
Oh.
So to solve this problem, they're doing baptisms for dead people. So
Oh.
like maybe your grandma never got baptized as a Mormon. This is your opportunity to go and baptize her in proxy. So they usually do like girls with girls. So if it's your grandma, a girl would go and like be baptized. They're going to say your grandma's name. They're going to do the whole ritual as though she was your grandma, right?
Oh wow.
So like you're being baptized for somebody else, which yeah, it's not your own baptism, but like you're there doing it.
This is very strange.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and it looks kind of I always thought it looked kind of cool because like the font of water where they baptize you is like on these two golden oxens, and it looks like really cool. But yeah, everything in the temple like looks pretty cool. It's like really ornate and
Yeah.
adorned with really nice furnishings, and so
But do you think they don't allow everybody to go to a temple because somebody who is not, who doesn't believe that 100% will find it too weird and get weirded out? Is that the reason?
yeah, that's definitely one reason. I mean, I think they do want you to be worthy, and that's important to them. But also, it's like you got to be bought in before you go.
Yeah, yeah. So what made you stop believing in Mormonism?
Yeah, that's the question, right? I mean,
What happened?
yeah, it really started on my mission actually. Like I started losing faith in the religion on my mission because like teaching all these people, they start asking good questions, and you start to develop cracks in your faith.
What questions are these, for example?
Like somebody asked like, you know, when Joseph Smith was killed, how come he was like shooting back at the people trying to kill him? Like if he were like a prophet of God, he wouldn't have done that, you know. He wouldn't have like retaliated. Cuz I don't know if you know Joseph Smith, he was killed by a mob, and I think it was in I forget where it was. I think it was Illinois, but yeah, he was being chased by a mob, and they found him and they killed him. They were like storming up the stairs. He was on the second story, and they were trying to kill him, and he was firing back into the mob of people.
Yeah.
And it's just like something the church never teaches you until like, some outside information comes in.
Oh wow.
And so like then that thing kind of bothered me. And then you learn, oh, by the way, in the Book of Mormon, these people called the Lamanites, their DNA doesn't actually match Jewish DNA, which is what they claim in the Book of Mormon. They say the Jewish people came, they sailed across the sea in like 600 BC or something, and they started living in North America, and that's where the Native Americans came from. But we can
Oh,
we can DNA test it, and we know that that's
that's
not.
a long shot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing with Mormonism. They make so many claims that can be verified
Refuted
with
easy.
science
Yeah.
or refuted that it's kind of
Yeah,
bad for them.
that's a problem with religion, right? Because these days there's more scientific information you can gather. Like there's DNA scans you can find. Like you can find something like old bones, for example, and then you can date them. You can find who they came from, what was the origin, and that kind of works against religion in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, I say not only Mormonism, but like Christianity too.
Of course.
There's a lot, like with evolution, like what happened with me in Mormonism and is probably common with a lot of believers is you have to start performing mental gymnastics to continue believing.
Yes.
Like our religion is so sacred to us and something we hold so close to our heart that we don't want to let it go. And like our whole life has been invested in this. Like I served a 2-year mission. My whole family was Mormon. Everyone like if that wasn't true, like my whole life,
Your identity is completely
mm,
based on that.
yeah, it's like everything, you're starting over basically in
Yeah.
life is what it basically what it amounts to.
Okay,
So,
so you did the mission. People were asking you good questions. You
hmm
started to think more about it. And then at some point, did you have to go to your family and say, you know what, I have to quit?
yeah, so like on the mission, I started out really strong, a really strong believer. Like I was a really good missionary throughout my entire mission, I would say. Followed all the really strict rules, really tried to teach as many people as I could and like do as much good as I could. Like one thing that bothered me about the mission is everything is so controlled. All of your time is scheduled. Like you don't have any time to just go and like do research on your own. You're not even allowed to read any other books except the scriptures.
Yeah.
So there's no time, no freedom to do like self-exploration,
Tell
which
me
I
about like a day of a Mormon missionary, like from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. How does it look?
you wake up at 6:30. This might have changed in recent years, but you wake up at 6:30. You follow the white handbook, which has all the mission rules in it. You do 30 minutes of stretching and exercise. You eat breakfast, and then you do scripture study, personal scripture study. Then you do companion. So every missionary has a companion. You do a study with them. Then you go through your daily plan, like what you're gonna achieve that day. If there's any lessons you need to prepare for like the prospects, and then you leave the house and start your day. You either do tracting, you either go to the meetings you have set up, you might do service like we would in Montana. There's a lot of people that live on farms, so we would like, sometimes we just help people. There's widows that like need a fence that needs to be built, so we'd go help them
Yeah.
build a fence or whatever it is. Then you take lunch, then you keep going, keep, basically doing the same thing, prospecting, doing
So it's very
service.
structured. You don't have any free time.
Yeah. You get one day a week called P Day. Ours was on Monday.
P day,
P Day. I don't know. I don't even know what P stands for, but
like going to pee.
no, no, no. I don't know what it stands for actually, but we call it P Day.
Okay.
That's the day you do like all your laundry, like all your personal stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can write a letter to your family.
Wow.
Um, that's like the one day you have to. It's not even a full day. Like ours ended at 5 p.m. because the hours of 5 to like 8 are like the prime time for going out and talking to people and teaching. So it's like the early like morning and like part of the afternoon. And yeah, that's the only time you have, but it's you got to spend it doing laundry and writing to your family and like doing any other just like basic life thing that needs to get done for your week. Doctor's appointments.
Wow.
It's that one little window of time you have. And even then, you're not allowed to like read other books or go surf the internet. So,
You cannot use the internet.
no.
Do you have phone?
We have phone, but it's like a dumb phone. It's
Oh, so Mormons do not use phones and internet.
no, just the missionaries.
Okay.
Because they don't want Mormon missionaries like getting distracted with their goals.
Okay. Wow.
You know.
It's very prescriptive.
Yeah, the Mormon mission is really hardcore. It's pretty extreme.
Yes.
It's
Obviously.
yeah, yeah. So you're kind of like trapped. Like you don't have a way to answer your questions without like breaking the Mormon rules. Like you can't go on Reddit or some other.
Yeah.
We didn't have ChatGPT back then, so you couldn't ask ChatGPT about it. But you just kind of like I just kind of saved up all those questions for when I was gonna leave the mission, and I was really excited to go home. Like,
So at some point in a mission, you said, I'm done. Do you remember that day, or how did it look like when you're like, you know what? I can't have that anymore. It's too much.
It wasn't even on my mission. Like after my mission, I was still like pretty strong. Like
Yeah.
I came back and I went to BYU, and I was like really I got a calling at BYU, which was like
What is that?
a calling is like basically like your job in the church.
What was
Like
BYU?
BYU is the Brigham Young University, the
Okay.
Mormon college there.
Oh, you went to Mormon college.
Yeah.
Okay. So they also have a college. There's like
Yeah.
a full on education there
They
from.
have a really well designed life pipeline.
Okay.
Like you're born, indoctrinated is what I call it. Then you're going to seminary, doing all these activities your whole adolescence. You graduate high school, do the mission, and then you're supposed to get married right away. You go to BYU, you meet a Mormon girl or guy and get
In
married.
BYU.
Yeah. At BYU, like you meet someone, you get married like within a couple months. It's like pretty common for that to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
So they design your whole life.
they design your whole life.
Wow.
And after the mission, I was like, I don't know if I want to continue this ride.
But what did you want to do instead? What
I
was it?
wanted to live authentically, is what I wanted to do.
What was it authentically? You want to find? You didn't go want to find the girlfriend and get married in 2 months. You wanted to go party. You wanted to what do you want
Yeah,
to do?
that was the time when I was like, okay, the next step is like getting married and having kids. And I was like, I felt really uncomfortable about jumping into that because I was like, I need to explore more. Like something in me is like really not okay with how this is going.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of unanswered questions and like there if the whole church feels really coercive, like you're kind of it's like you should do these things or you're not really going to be accepted. You don't have the temple recommend, that looks pretty bad. You're going to have to tell everybody that you can't go to the temple because you don't have the recommend. Like, oh, you're not towing the line. Like it's pretty. There's a stigma around it.
Yeah. The shaming mechanism is done very well.
Yeah, and yeah, at some point I started questioning things. I started. You're not supposed to go and look at what they call anti-Mormon literature
Oh,
online,
okay.
but really it's just
Is that a sin too?
the sin to what's the
Is that a sin if you look at the anti-Mormon literature?
basically, yeah, it's like really taboo. You're not supposed to read or watch anything that goes against what the church teaches.
Wow.
So,
It's very interesting.
yeah, I mean, it's just basic stuff on the internet, like
Okay. What did you
facts.
learn in anti-Mormon literatures for? I guess Mormons are not watching us.
Yeah,
uh,
once I cracked open that door, it was like everything came flooding. Like I just had so many questions and it was pretty overwhelming, honestly. They call it your shelf breaking.
yeah.
Like it's like all those little things that bother you, like I talked about, like the Joseph Smith thing, the polygamy thing. It gets to a point where like you have so many things that you're dealing with, like evolution. Like you have to create a rationalization in your head for every new piece of information you learn that goes against Mormonism.
Yes.
And at some point it gets too heavy. You have something called cognitive dissonance
Yes.
where you're like believing like two contradicting things in your head. In my case, it was many more than two things. It was a lot of things. And I couldn't really have like a cohesive worldview anymore of like learning facts about the world and what Mormonism is teaching. And you kind of start having this breakdown of like, I just want, like, the pain of continuing with cognitive dissonance is more than just having like a faith crisis and like starting your life over, basically.
Yes. Wow.
So that's what happened to me. I
And then essentially you went to your parents and you told them that you're done with Mormonism. And how was their reaction to it? Because I assume they were not very happy about it.
yeah, they were not that happy about it. I waited like a year to tell them after I decided like I wasn't gonna be in it anymore.
So you were still a Mormon for a year,
I was still going to BYU, but I was like,
secretly
it's not
reading
like it
some.
wasn't like a snap of a fingers where I was like, I don't believe anymore. It was like
Yeah. Slowly, slowly.
slowly coming to the realization,
Okay.
you
So
know.
how was that conversation with your parents?
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but we're still close, and it was hard because like it's a big deal. Like you're basically saying like you might not be in heaven with us. You might not
Uh-oh.
be there in the celestial kingdom with the rest of the family. So
And your parents are still devoted Mormons.
yeah, it's an interesting story. Like my dad still is, but my mom has like started questioning herself now. So we'll see where that goes.
I guess you, in some way, inspired her to ask questions.
Yeah, it could be me or it could be like like my mom actually never really fit into the church because if you're a woman in the church, like you're not really you don't really have a lot of power. It's still pretty conservative in Mormonism. Like women can't have what's called the priesthood. They can't have certain leadership roles. So it's like, yeah, from her perspective, some of that stuff bothered her more than it did me. But yeah, that stuff bothered her, and that's kind of why she's questioning
Did you
things.
have to leave home?
Yeah, I'd already left home by that point. So yeah, it
Wow.
was. I think I was like 23 or something when that happened.
And how does the life unfolded when you strip out your identity completely and you had to start over?
Yeah, that was honestly really tough. I had like a lot of bitterness and resentment. I felt a lot of things: bitterness, resentment, embarrassment. Because like once you step back and you're like, wow, I actually like believed a lot of these like crazy things. And then you
Yeah,
have to realize like no, like I was indoctrinated,
yeah,
and like that's kind of like the normal thing to do. It's like it's like human behavior to take on the beliefs of your tribe, and it's just totally normal. So like
yeah,
you got to go easy on yourself, and I'm glad I like made it out. I guess I would say,
yes.
but yeah, it was not easy.
And how did you rebuild your life?
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. When I was 23, I just stopped participating in Mormonism. I literally I stopped wearing the garments. I remember like when I took them off for the last time, I was like crying because it was like a big deal. Like I felt like I was like betraying what like my calling
Wow.
to like be dedicated to Mormonism. But I was
And
like,
you wear them every day all the time.
before I would, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. So it's
And
like you're part of you already because you wear them from when you were a child to when you were 23 years old.
not since a child, since I was like 18.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't do that thing till you're 18, but um yeah, it was like a big deal. I was like
Wow.
felt like I was a traitor. But I also felt bound like I felt like they had betrayed me first because they had not painted an accurate picture of what Mormonism was. Like they had never told us in all those years of going to seminary, church, Sunday school, mutual, family home, like nothing, nowhere in there they told us about all these skeletons in the closet, like the DNA stuff. They also mentioned that there were horses in North America, but like pre-colonial horses, and we have no evidence that that happened. There was like all the sketchy things Joseph Smith did. Like they made this whole movie about Joseph Smith, and they never showed any of his like polygamous wives. They never showed him shooting back, when he was killed. They never showed like they just paint him in such a positive light that it's like not even truthful the way that they present it.
Yeah, if you, I mean, I know nothing about Mormonism, so I'm just somebody who is hearing a story, and to me, it's like pretty crazy because I was indoctrinated, right? It's always when you look from outside and you're like, wow. It's like you guys believe that some dude from America found some things and then he became a prophet, and now we have to believe everything he says and like believe in his life story and pray around it and create a whole religion around it, and then you have to pay tax, and you're like, this sounds to me like one big cult.
Yeah, that's the C word, the big C word. That's a pretty big deal
Uh-oh.
in Mormonism.
Uh-oh, we're gonna get canceled.
Yeah, like if you tell any Mormon that they're in a cult, there's something called the backfire effect, which is like if you tell someone that something they don't want to hear, they're really opposed to, it actually reinforces their belief in that thing.
Oh, they teach you like if somebody says you're in a cult, they just don't understand.
You don't even need to teach them that. It's like a human reaction.
Okay.
If you like
Trigger word.
if you challenge someone's beliefs, they a lot of times the backfire effect happens and they double down on those beliefs. So like Mormons, if you tell them they're in a cult, that's gonna happen. They're probably gonna believe more. So, but I think, and there's a lot of arguments as to whether or not Mormonism is a cult. I think it is. There's a book by Stephen Hassan called like Cult Influence and Mind Control or something like that. He's written a lot about cults, but
There are certain characteristics of a cult. Like
yeah,
if you study a cult, there's rituals, there's a belief, there's like a hero journey, there's like a book.
hmm,
Uh, People need to do some things that are kind of strange. I don't know all of them, uh,
yeah,
but
and there's like a continuum, the cult continuum, and if you measure Mormonism, like especially certain aspects, like the Mormon mission, like those things fit pretty squarely into like what a cult is. Um, I think there are cults that are much more harmful than Mormonism. Like I think like there's cults where, like Jim Jones, where they're taking Kool Aid and
yeah, then they all die.
killing
Yeah,
themselves,
yeah.
and like the Children of God, where they all killed themselves to like try and have their souls like be swept away by some comet or something. Like those are like really harmful and hardcore cults. I
Yes.
think Mormonism is it's not really harmful in that people are dying or like injuring
Yeah.
themselves.
Are there some aggression in Mormonism? Or they're just
No,
nice and kind and
they're really kind and nice. Like they're pretty. It's a pretty docile
like
religion.
even if I would start challenging their beliefs, they would just walk away. They would be like, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
okay,"
No, Mormons always respond with kindness. Like
which is beautiful.
you fight with kindness
Yeah,
is like the philosophy.
it's one of those cults or religions
Yeah,
that,
it's really
like,
good to
it's
have Mormon neighbors. Like they'll be some of the nicest people
yeah,
ever.
like you are one of the nicest guys I know, literally. Like just, and I don't know if it's Mormonism or not, but like your presence is so calm and nice, and I would be like, great. I would love to have a friend like Dylan.
Yeah.
So I think if part of me, because I was thinking about that a lot. My grandma was in Jehovah's Witnesses, and I could see how they gather and all those things were kind of strange. I could see that
Yeah.
they were very strange from a young age. I wasn't indoctrinated in, though she read me Bible every time we met, and she was pushing it pretty hard in a good way. So I was like, okay, let's read. And I read New Testament, Old Testament with her, so I understand it very nicely. But I'll always be like, huh, one part of me now, looking back, thinks if it helps you cope with life, because life is tough, and some people are better guided. Like if they're guided and there's some good values are instilled, even though some weird things are happening, but if your life is kind of understand, if you understand life better, and if you just fit in, because some people are like that's cool. I can be nice. We can go to temple. I have friends. I have everything prescribed. I enjoy it. I feel safe. I think that's great. I don't see anything wrong with it. What I see a problem with when you like, guys, I just it doesn't end up like I don't believe in it, and people start to like push back and don't want to talk to you and disown you or whatever people do. And I'm like, well, this is not what you propose. You propose all we're all brothers, we're all in this together, so I should be able to have my own opinions. But for somebody who is making a cult, I could see how counterproductive it is. It's like you have school and there's one kid who will be always like screaming some shit, and then you're like, "Shut up!"
Yeah.
Like you're disturbing our nice class. But then this kid is like, "Why? I'm that way. I want to be that way." So I have duality in this. I really understand and I respect uh, religion. And I think it brings a lot of good things to people. It's way better that you're indoctrinated in something good if you are. Better you're not. But I also feel that, as you said, if you decide to step out, it's a very tough journey to go. Then you kind of lose all your friends, all your network. There's nothing to talk about, and then you have to start over.
Yeah, yeah, it's tremendously hard. It's like having an earthquake in your mind starting over. Like you yeah, I mean, where to begin? Like the thing is like when I left Mormonism when I was 23, I just left Mormonism, but I still kind of like kept my belief in God until I was about 29. And like when I was when I was 23, I was like, I've already spent 2 years in a mission. I've put off my career and my life for long enough. Like, I'm just gonna figure out this meaning of life and religion stuff later. I'm just not gonna think or worry about religion. Like, I didn't actually sort of clean out the closets, as you will, and go through like that really painful journey until I was 29, when I had more time to look into it. So when I was 29, I went through this whole deconstruction phase of Mormonism. Like I was reading all these books, like that one by Stephen Hassan. I was I actually went to therapy for a little while because my therapist diagnosed me with something called religious trauma syndrome,
Well,
and yeah, therapy didn't like do a lot for me, but it was like nice to have someone to talk to about like how I was feeling and to, like, no, your stories like actually make sense, and it was good to have like a validation from somebody else because I didn't like want to share that with other people.
yeah.
But yeah, that was the hard part, and like it was just like going through the closet of your mind of like taking every little belief, analyzing it, and just like accepting the hard truth. Like you're not special. You weren't born into like some amazing religion that had all the answers, and like you were God's chosen person or whatever. Like you know, there's been cults all throughout time, and like you're just born into a cult, and that's
Oh,
nothing special about you. You know, it's like
wow.
so.
That sounds very harsh.
Yeah, and it's harsh, and it's like, you probably wasted 2 years on your mission. Like, you just like spent 2 years like converting more people to the cult, and all that money you paid to the church, the 10%, they're gonna use it for building up the church even more. And it's like, okay, like it just feels like it took so much from me, and it's hard to like have your mind accept that you were wrong, and like, yeah,
Wow.
that's like a loss.
So you don't believe in God anymore?
No, after deconstructing Mormonism, I kept going and just deconstructed all of my beliefs and really analyzed them. And yeah, I even lost my belief in God at that point too. So
Do you believe something happens after we die?
yeah, that's an open question. I don't think it's anything like most of the religions describe, like some kind of heaven, paradise, or hell. I think it's mostly a question of like what happens to consciousness. Like what is conscious? If we can answer that question, we have a more intelligent answer there. We can probably give a better answer to like what happens after we die. But I don't think it's some mystical, magical kind of religious thing anymore.
Interesting. I used to be completely atheistic for the most of my life, even though, again, I think I was rebelling for this grandma being a Jehovah's Witness. There was another situation when she got somebody in her house and this lady lived with her, and I don't think she treated her well. So a lot of those things gave me kind of a trauma. Um, but then once I started exploring spirituality, whatever it is, I kind of started believing in God for the first time maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But then, and I talked to a lot of people here, right? And I think it's important, how do you define God? Because the religions define God as a creator, that some religions go as much as he's seeing whatever you're doing and uh, defining if you're going to have heaven or hell. So there's like some entity somewhere that is overseeing everything that happens here. And I don't necessarily believe in that, but the good friend of mine, I think he describes religion so well. Like if I would talk to somebody about religion, because he is a devoted Muslim. He was on this podcast a few times ago, and few times, and his description was that God is like we're all expression of God, which I really like. That he's like there was singularity, and then it get divided, and then this flower is God, you are God, me God, this table is God. So it's like how the God expresses itself. I was like, this is a beautiful way to describe it. So it's not like one entity that observes the world, but it's more like expression of life. And he would watch that and he would hate that. I apologize because I'm not as eloquent in describing his thought that he is.
Yeah, no, it is an interesting idea. I kind of subscribe to that idea like between like the age of 23 and 29 when I'd left Mormonism but still believed in God. That's how I viewed God. It's like it's a pantheistic view. Spinoza kind of describes a lot about that, but even I even lost faith in that idea of a God too. Um, at some point, like, what is God? Like, there's so many definitions. Like, in every religion, kind of has their own God, and they all mean different things. But yeah, at some point, it's like, if just painting that picture, like, if there's all these different religions that believe in a different God, like, why would God want it to be so confusing? Like, why would it be this way?
I think
Would it be
people are
designed?
confused.
They are confused, and like, I don't think it's like who has the answer to life? Like,
Yeah.
what's the purpose of life? It's another thing. I also consider myself a nihilist because I don't believe there's an objective purpose to life.
Yes.
Doesn't mean I'm depressed and I wake up every day like feeling terrible. Like I'm actually really happy. I guess I would describe myself as like an optimistic nihilist,
Okay.
an optimistic, stoic, nihilistic atheist to be exact.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I think that purpose is an evolutionary drive, like hunger. Like if you were a human that didn't have hunger, you may not get the signal that it's time to eat, and you would be at a disadvantage to somebody who had that signal. And I think meaning is like the same kind of a thing, where like those humans who had a strong signal to search for meaning were more likely to strive and execute behaviors that were more likely to preserve and propagate human life. So, I don't think there's an objective meaning to life, but it doesn't mean your life can't be meaningful.
Okay. Beautiful. Do
So,
Do you believe that a lot of those strong opinions about God and about not having a meaning also comes as part of you rebelling against Mormonism, I guess?
yeah, of course, because Mormonism forces you to examine your beliefs, and most people don't honestly and rigorously examine their own beliefs.
Yeah.
So like you can't really like it forces you. You're either in this extreme religion and you're believing it, or you're like forced to analyze and you're sort of shoot up and spit out of it. So
Yeah.
you have to analyze it, and that was like kind of a good thing because most people they like kind of get really religious as they get older. As I think it's something to do with the fear of death.
Probably.
And like as they get older, they start to become more religious, and when they're young, they don't really think about it. I feel like I did my life the opposite. Like I was really religious when I
Yeah.
was young, and now I'm I kind of think religion is more of like humanity's first and messy attempt at something like philosophy. And there's a lot of things we can pull from religion. Like not every we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Like I especially like Eastern religions, like meditation.
Yes.
We did a Vipassana retreat together. Like that's kind of like one of the gold flecks of that religion left us.
Yes.
A lot of these teachings around mindfulness are really really important. But like the core tenets of like this belief in a God or Jesus, I don't believe in those things.
You don't believe that Jesus was a real guy?
He might have been a real guy. I mean, there's some speculation around that,
Yeah.
but
That he was a son of God.
I don't think he was the son of God. I don't even think he was resurrected, you know.
Yeah.
Like those records we have in the Bible, the earliest one was recorded like 60 years after
Yes.
Christ's death. And it's like I don't even think it's a first-hand account. So like we have such poor information around what actually happened there.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like kind of interesting. People don't question and worry about that aspect more of the
But
Bible.
I think there's different layers to that. There is spirituality and there's a religion. I think they are separate in my worldview. So, a lot of religion is indoctrination and belief in things that you cannot fathom. Like Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus walks on water. Whatever it is, Jesus heals people that cannot be healed. So all of those things, you don't have to believe in all of them to believe that there is a higher power. For example, because a lot of this is written by people I mean, all of those books are written by people, and we know how what people do. I tell you a story, you tell the Chris a story, and then will be a completely different story. This is how we operate. We
Mm-hmm.
like to exaggerate. We have egos. We have our own issues, and we all of those stories are just stories. But I try to look for commonalities. I see, okay, so for many many years, and I guess humanity are here for 300,000 years. So I assume there was more of those stories. We're just talking about stories that are like 2,000 years ago, which is nothing in the historical time frame.
Yeah.
But still, in different places on Earth, different people have at least similar understanding that there is something more to life. Um, and again, I don't believe in necessarily in everything that happens in a Bible. Like this is to me, it's more extreme when you start going and like to you everything is truth. But I do believe that there's things in life that it's hard to explain. Like everything around us is architected so well. Like this body is like a perfect machine where every single thing is working with each other in a beautiful way. The sun, the moon, the planets, everything is like working together in this magical way. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, it seems unlikely that this happened by accident. Maybe it is, but it's just too good. Maybe evolution is this complex. I understand it. Evolution is very complicated. We went through many iterations, and here's what we end up with. Also, the another thing is time. So we don't understand anything about time. The
I mean,
time,
we understand a few things, but yeah, there's a lot we don't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like what happened? Let's say if we believe in Big Bang, what happened before that? Space and time, um, all those notions are very new, and there's a lot of unexplained things around it. So to me, I can I know that I don't know. Like I cannot be certain because I think it's one way of ignorance is to be certain. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
that God doesn't exist. It's as ignorant as believing completely that God exists. Um, I'm in a camp of I don't know.
Yeah. And on, yeah, this is kind of like a big like point that I talk to a lot of people about, but I think agnosticism, I don't know, like it's not that useful because belief already takes into account uncertainty. It's just not usually expressed when we speak English to one another. Like if I say I don't believe in God, it doesn't mean I'm certain. I take more of a Bayesian approach, and I'm like, with the information I've compiled, I have a pretty high degree of confidence that there's no God. And like, at what point, like, at what degree of confidence do you become an agnostic? Is it like 60% certainty? Is that agnosticism? 50%? Like, so in my view, it's like I'd rather talk about like strength of belief instead of agnosticism. I think it's more of a productive conversation usually. But really, like we're all agnostics. Like nobody, even like the strongest believer in God, doesn't know 100% that there's a God. The strongest atheist doesn't know there's not a God, right? But
But they're certain. One is to actually they believe 100%. Well, whether the God is true or no, it's a different question. I can believe that I don't know you're a son of God. I can believe that 100%. But does that mean that you're son of God or not? That's a different story. I think the difference
oh
between
yeah,
belief doesn't equal truth.
yeah, people can be highly confident in things that are untrue.
Yeah,
That's
people believe that the Earth is flat
yeah, yeah.
with
There's
100% confidence until they didn't.
yeah. I mean, I would. There's like a technicality. I would say it's not even really possible for someone to believe 100% that
Okay. Yes.
something is true. I think you can have a really high degree, but yeah, I don't.
But what is your degree of confidence that the God does not exist?
I'd say it's over 90%.
Oh
It's
wow,
pretty confident. Yeah.
this is cool. How do you explain unexplainable things
Like what?
like a Big Bang?
Yeah, the Big Bang. Some things you have to wait for science or wait for a good answer. Like there are certain answers that have come, like we have answers that people 100 years ago didn't have.
Yes.
And
But isn't that allows you to be less confident because you don't know? And science, most of the time, is also wrong. We believed scientifically correct 100 years ago is not scientifically correct now.
yeah, the thing with God is like the problem there is like there have been so many religions that have made a lot of claims that have bled into the world of science and they've been proven false. Like Christianity has this whole thing with evolution. Some people say, evolution was God's way of creating everything that we have around us.
Yeah.
Uh, Genesis says the Earth was 6,000 years old. We know it's like closer to 4 billion. So there's a lot of
But you're tying your religion to God, though. To me, those are completely separate things. I don't think that the religion is just a framework that somebody chose to believe in God. Same as Agile is a framework to build software.
yeah, but even the picture of even the landscape says something about God. Like if you're saying God allowed a world with this amount of suffering and this amount of fragmentation and confusion around
Yeah, I don't.
what his properties are, that already speaks a lot about God. It sounds like if that's what you believe, you believe like more in a deistic worldview, like where God is he doesn't act on behalf of or for humans. He just kind of created everything and then retired, and
I
he's
don't
not
believe.
acting
Okay.
anymore. You know,
Yes, I don't believe in that actually.
you don't believe in it.
No, I don't believe that the God is a conscious being that created Earth. I believe that I mostly believe that God in like an energy, the energy that created that kind of singular energy that at one point in some condition he started separating and then essentially by the evolution by it created time and space and then time and space with more time passing it create everything we have, but there was certain initial seed that said I want this
Yeah.
singularity was like primed in certain way to down the line create everything there is here. But I don't believe that the God is sitting here and creating new worlds or observing you or judging you or you're going back to heaven or to hell. I do believe in, for some reason, mostly my psychedelic journeys has to do with that, is soul. I believe that this is not it. There's like my consciousness is not limited by my body.
Okay.
Just because I had this wild experiences being high, we went from Mormonism to being high. Great. When I could look at somebody and they're also high, and we kind of talk without talking, and then when we kind of went out of this experience, we just all laughed together that we completely understood each other and we discussed exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is something I cannot explain. When I cannot explain, it doesn't mean I believe 100%. Maybe it's just a result of being high. But once you see something that, and you feel with certain confidence that this is not, this is like some non-dual state. This is something that you're somewhere where you shouldn't have been, and there's like this other layer of energy or something else that you can access to. Um, that makes me question, like you were questioning what Mormonism was teaching you. I'm questioning what I was, the certainty which I would understand the world and
Yeah.
my beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're hitting on the head with one of like the most powerful mechanism by which people form and retain religious or spiritual beliefs, which is personal experience. Like if
Yeah.
you've experienced something, I had experiences too. I think the problem is like because I was raised more in the Mormon world, I framed all those experiences through the Mormon lens. Like when my grandpa died, I had like a really strong spiritual feeling, and like I never really felt that way before, and I interpreted that as like God communicated to me basically.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think if I were like in a different religion, it would have been interpreted a different way. But like, that was like kind of a strong spiritual experience for me back then, but it was like kind of routed into Mormonism. And
Interesting.
yeah, with these personal experiences, I don't it's sometimes it's hard to know what to make of them. Like
Yes.
cuz like you hear like, some a Muslim person has this strong experience with Allah and like
Yeah.
a totally different scenario than what we're experiencing.
I was talking to this guy Paula. I should invite him back to a podcast, and he sees auras around people like different colors, and he would be certain that he sees that. Do I believe in that? No, because I don't see it. But do I know for sure that he doesn't see it? No. Why would I not trust somebody who says something to me even though I'm not experiencing that? Or there was another
Yeah.
girl that channels people. And how do I know it's not true? Like, I'm meeting all those people and smart people, educated people, that sharing all those experiences makes me question the difference between following blindly versus asking questions and challenging. That's why I do this podcast. I love to dig deep and like, okay, so you believe in that. Let us unpack that so I can learn. And the more I do that, the more I understand that I actually don't know much. I think I consider it very ignorant to think that everything is certain because, again, 100 years ago, what people knew and what we know now are completely different world beliefs,
Hmm.
worldviews. People are, a lot of the times when people were spiritual or they would see something that other people don't, they were prosecuted. So a lot of them don't want to speak up. I was talking about, I mean, Ubud is a place where people with different spiritual experiences um, come to. So you can find a lot of them here. Yes, probably a lot of this is maybe something is wrong with them, or maybe uh, they misinterpret some of those experiences. But some of them, I truly believe, experience what they say they do. And who am I to say that I know better than them? That makes me believe. And I believe that if I could, same with you, like if I could find a crack in my belief, then I cannot say my belief is certain. Like I cannot say I don't believe in God if somebody tells me something and I'm like, huh, I don't necessarily believe 100% what you're saying, but it made me question if what you're saying is true or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's yeah, with personal experience, that's it's interesting. I think it goes back to like that landscape that I was talking about earlier, where you have so many different religions with different descriptions of God. Like the personal experiences fit in to that, and like when you look at what neuroscientists have found out, like you uncover some really strange things about consciousness.
Yes,
Have you heard about the split brain experiment?
yes.
Or
It would
yeah,
describe it for people who don't.
yeah. Essentially, they found people who had to have this surgery where they cut their brain in half, essentially the left and right hemispheres.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's something to help people that are epileptic, so they don't have seizures, or at least as strong of seizures. But they found that the left and the right brain are essentially having like two independent experiences, and because they can't communicate anymore, the left brain will know things the right brain doesn't, and like they can perform tests where like they'll use the patient's right hand to do something and the left hand doesn't know about it if they're separated, if they like block the vision of their eyes, because essentially like the left part of your brain controls your right hand, if I remember correctly, and your right eye. So they're having these two separate worlds, these two separate consciousnesses in one brain. So like that kind of tells us, like, at least it tells me, is consciousness is more of a phenomena of the brain
okay.
than of like something supernatural, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Because like we can perform these kind of tests and see that, uh, you know, if we mess with someone's brain, we can get these predictable results and how they experience consciousness. Anyway,
Yes. Okay.
so yeah, I guess if I have faith in something, it's more of like I have faith in the scientific process, and I realize that there's not science can't answer every question, but it can answer a lot of questions and just you know get rid of a lot of bad ideas, and it can at least tell us maybe what ideas it doesn't have answers to and what ideas we should spend more time on. But consciousness, I think that's the biggest and most mysterious question we have
For sure.
right now.
Yes. Do you believe in simulation?
There probably is a simulation.
All right.
It seems likely.
Who created simulation?
The previous simulation.
Who created that?
I mean, it's turtles all the way down, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And that is actually how most people, uh, if you ask people who are non-religious, how would they, what would their process be to prove that God exists will be a regression.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that's kind of another thing with God is like you could say like we kind of have this tendency as humans to prescribe a creator to things. Like we look at this microphone or this table
Yes.
and we know that a human made this.
Yes.
And we kind of continue this chain of thought to other things. Like we go outside, look at some trees or a mountain, and we think, oh, just like the table and the microphone, there must be a creator for these mountains and these trees. But really, this is a fallacy. It doesn't, just because it applies to some things doesn't mean it applies to everything. Like maybe instead of a god, needing a god to create a universe, maybe the universe just always was.
But if we believe in the time, there was something before that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of theories about that. Like, there's, I think it's called the Big Pulse theory, where like the Big Bang will happen and it's going through a cycle of expansion, and then at some point the universe will retract into a
Yes.
Big Bang. Maybe this is, there's no simulation. The Big Bang just happened, and here we are. There's other people who say, well, something can't come from nothing. And then there's some, this seems kind of crazy, but there's some scientists who say uh, the sum total of matter in the universe actually equals zero. Like if you were to count all the energy,
Yes. I heard that.
it would it would equal out because I think like antimatter or something exactly counteracts matter. I forget the details, but energy comes out to zero. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know how they could measure the energy in an entire universe and come up with that
Yeah.
calculation, but it was in a reputable science magazine. So, there's various answers, and for right now, I think we have to just accept that we don't know those answers, but maybe they'll come in the future. Maybe AI is going to tell us, hey, go take these 5 measurements, and then we can tell you what happened with the Big Bang, you know, when super
To
intelligence
me,
comes.
that don't know part is my belief in God. Like only that.
Yeah.
I don't believe in myths and stories, though I find them very good and there's a lot of wisdom. I tell those biblical stories to my kids because I believe there's a lot of good wisdom in there.
Hmm.
Um, but to me, spirituality is this small subset of not knowing, where I don't know yet. If it's going to be explained, I'll be the first one who say there's no God. But I'm usually very pragmatic. I won't consider myself a naive person. I think a lot, but there are gap in my thoughts. And to me, that's not knowing is God.
Yeah. It's called the God of the Gaps theory, I think. It's like,
All right. Somebody gave it a name already.
yeah, it's like the things we don't know. Like we might know a lot, but when we get to a gap and we don't know something, that's God, right? Like
Yes.
God, and we've filled in a lot of gaps, but there's still many more gaps that
Yeah.
humanity has, and who knows if we'll ever fill all of them or not.
Awesome. Last question. For somebody who is, we're gonna back to Mormonism, but because you went through this path, it was very painful for somebody who might be a Mormon right now listening to us, but who is on the path similar to yours, who is questioning everything, what advice would you give them to maybe make their life a little bit easier?
I'd say prioritize living an authentic life. Uh, it's uncertain what's going to happen in the future. You might be in a really hard situation where, like, maybe you're in a religion or some group where if you left that group, it would cause a lot of turmoil in your life and the lives of people around you and disappointment. And sometimes there's younger people that are like 16 or 17 and even younger that are part of a religious group and they don't want to be part of it, but they're dependent, so they don't really have a lot of choice of what to do. The advice is varied and it's hard to just give one blanket statement, but you know, hang in there, don't give up, and like prioritize getting to a point to where you can live an authentic life.
Beautiful.
That's
Thank you.
that's really the best thing you can do.
Cool, man. Thank you for coming and sharing your story. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Talk to you soon, guys. Like and subscribe. Bye.
See you later.